Look at your life for a moment. Be honest. How many times have you promised yourself, "This time I'll change. This time I'll wake up early. This time I'll stop procrastinating. This time I'll be consistent. This time I'll control my urges. This time I'll stay disciplined." And for a few days, maybe even a week, you do well. You feel powerful, focused, in control. Then suddenly, you fall. You miss one day. Then another. Then another. And before you realize it, you're back in the same cycle. The same habits. The same excuses. The same disappointment. And the worst part? It's not the failure. It's the conversation you have with yourself after. The guilt. The frustration. The shame. That voice saying, "Why am I like this? Why can't I stay disciplined? Why do I keep failing myself?" Listen carefully. Because this may be the truth you need to hear. You are not failing discipline because you are weak. You are failing discipline because you misunderstand it. That changes everything. Most people think discipline is about force. Pushing harder. Trying harder. Suffering harder. But real discipline is deeper than force. It is identity. It is structure. It is philosophy. And without those, discipline collapses. Think of a house. If the foundation is weak, the house falls. Not because the roof failed. Because the foundation failed. Your discipline is the same. And today, we're going to expose why your discipline keeps breaking. Not to shame you. To rebuild you. Because once you understand the real reasons, everything changes. And stay until the end. Because the final reason is the one most people never notice. And it silently destroys everything. And if you are serious about becoming stronger, subscribe to the Stoic Path. Because here, we don't worship comfort. We build discipline. Control. Mental strength. Now let's begin. Reason number 1, you depend on motivation. This is the first trap. And maybe the most common. Motivation feels powerful. In the beginning, it makes you feel unstoppable. You watch a video. Read a quote. Feel inspired. And suddenly, you're ready to conquer life. But motivation is emotional. And emotion is unstable. Some mornings you feel strong. Some mornings you feel empty. If your discipline depends on feeling good, it will fail. A farmer does not plant seeds only when he feels inspired. He plants because it is time. Rain or shine. Mood or no mood. That is discipline. There was once a young man who wanted to get strong. Every time he felt motivated, he trained hard. But when motivation disappeared, so did he. Weeks later, he looked the same. His mentor told him, "Your body doesn't grow from motivation. It grows from repetition." That hit him deeply. And it should hit you too. Motivation starts. Discipline continues. Stop asking, "Do I feel like it?" Start asking, "Did I decide to do it?" Because decision is stronger than emotion. Stoics did not trust emotion. They trusted principle. And principle survives bad days. Reason number 2, your environment is stronger than your willpower. People overestimate willpower. And underestimate environment. If temptation surrounds you, discipline becomes harder. Not impossible. Harder. Imagine trying to quit sugar, while your table is full of sweets. Trying to focus, while your phone keeps buzzing. Trying to wake early, while sleeping at 2 a.m. Environment shapes behavior. A man wanted to stop drinking. But every night, he sat with friends who drank heavily. Same table. Same temptation. Same cycle. And every week he failed. Until he changed his environment. Different nights. Different people. Different routines. And his discipline improved. Why? Because discipline grows easier in the right environment. Do not rely only on strength. Design your surroundings. Protect your habits. Make discipline easier. Make weakness harder. That is wisdom. Reason number 3, you make discipline too big. This destroys many people. They try to transform overnight. Wake at 4 a.m. Exercise 2 hours. Read 5 books. Meditate. Journal. Eat perfectly. Work endlessly. And by day 4, they collapse. Why? Because they built a mountain too high. Discipline grows through small wins. Not giant pressure. There was once a stonecutter. Every day. 1 strike. 1 strike. 1 strike. Nothing happened. Until one day. The stone cracked. People praised the final strike. But it was every strike before it that mattered. That is discipline. Small. Repeated. Consistent. Stop trying to become everything overnight. Become better today. That is enough. 1 page. 1 workout. 1 early wake up. 1 good decision. Stack them. That is how identity changes. Reason number 4, you keep negotiating with yourself. This one is deadly. Your alarm rings. And your mind says, 5 more minutes. Your work waits. And your mind says, I'll start later. Your responsibility calls. And your mind says, tomorrow. Every negotiation weakens authority over yourself. A king who negotiates every command loses power. And so do you. Your mind watches your decisions. Every broken promise teaches it. My words mean nothing. That is dangerous. Because self-trust is built through obedience to your own standards. A soldier once said, the battlefield is won before the battle. Meaning, victory is decided in preparation. And discipline is the same. When you decide, remove negotiation. Do it. Immediately. Not perfectly. But immediately. Because action kills resistance. Delay feeds it. Reason number 5, you fear discomfort. This is deep. Discipline is uncomfortable. Waking early is uncomfortable. Training is uncomfortable. Saying no is uncomfortable. Studying is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. And many people secretly worship comfort. That's why discipline feels impossible. Because discipline and comfort rarely live together. A man once trained under a Stoic teacher. Every morning the teacher made him stand in cold water before sunrise. The student hated it. One day he asked, why must I suffer like this? The teacher said, to teach you that discomfort cannot control you. That is the lesson. Discomfort is not danger. It is training. And once you stop fearing discomfort, discipline becomes easier. Because you stop running from what strengthens you. Now let's face the deeper truth. The real battle of discipline is not with your schedule. Not with your alarm. Not with your to-do list. It is with identity. Because every action you repeat becomes evidence of who you believe you are. And this is where many people fail. They say, I want discipline. But deep inside, they still identify as inconsistent, lazy, weak, unfocused. An identity always wins. A person who believes, I'm the kind of person who always quits, will eventually quit. Not because they have to. Because the mind protects identity. That's how powerful identity is. There was once a man who smoked for 20 years. People offered him cigarettes. And every time he said, I'm trying to quit. Trying. Not deciding. Trying keeps the old identity alive. But one day, something changed. When offered a cigarette, he said, I don't smoke. Simple. Powerful. Different identity. And over time, his behavior followed. This is the Stoic way. Do not ask, what do I feel like doing? Ask, who am I becoming? Because discipline is identity in action. A disciplined person does not wake early because they feel like it. They wake early because that is who they are. That mindset changes everything. Reason number 6, inconsistency is training your weakness. This is painful, but necessary. Every time you stop, you train stopping. Every time you quit, you train quitting. Every time you delay, you train delay. The mind learns through repetition. Not intention. Repetition. A warrior sharpens his sword daily. Not when he feels inspired. Daily. Because sharpness fades. And discipline fades too. If neglected. There was a musician who practiced for years. One day someone asked, how did you become so skilled? He answered, I respected the ordinary days. That is discipline. Not heroic moments. Ordinary repetition. The problem is, most people want extraordinary results. With ordinary commitment. It doesn't work. Discipline rewards consistency. Not intensity. Better to train 20 minutes every day than 4 hours once a week. Better to read 10 pages daily than 100 pages once and stop. Consistency compounds. That is law. Reason number 7, guilt is keeping you trapped. This one destroys many. You fail. You break routine. You miss the habit. And instead of restarting, you drown in guilt. I ruined it. I'm useless. What's the point? And guilt becomes an excuse to keep failing. But Stoics understood something powerful. Failure is information. Not identity. A man learning to walk falls many times. Nobody says, you're not meant to walk. They understand. Falling is part of learning. Why do adults forget this? Why do you treat one failure as final? One missed day is not destruction. But turning one missed day into 10. That is. A monk once dropped his bowl. It shattered. He looked at the pieces and smiled. His student asked, why are you smiling? He said, it has taught me to hold the next one with more care. That is wisdom. Failure teaches. If you let it. But guilt blinds. Learn. Adjust. Continue. That is strength. Reason number 8, you keep escaping yourself. This is deeper than habit. Many people use distraction to avoid themselves. Phone. Entertainment. Scrolling. Noise. Why? Because silence is uncomfortable. And in silence, truth appears. Your weaknesses. Your fears. Your unfinished work. And instead of facing it, you escape. But discipline requires confrontation. Facing reality. Facing your mind. Facing your excuses. A warrior once sat alone in the forest every night. No distractions. No company. Just himself. Someone asked. Why do you do this? He said. To become familiar with my own mind. That is powerful. Because a person unfamiliar with their own mind cannot control it. And a mind you cannot control cannot sustain discipline. Sit with yourself. Face yourself. Know yourself. That is where discipline begins. Reason number 9, you are addicted to immediate reward. This is modern poison. Fast food. Fast pleasure. Fast dopamine. Fast distraction. The mind becomes impatient. And discipline feels slow. Boring. Hard. Because discipline often pays late. A seed planted today does not feed you tomorrow. But it feeds you later. That requires patience. A boy once planted bamboo. For years. Nothing grew. No visible result. People mocked him. But he kept watering. Then suddenly. It shot up rapidly. What they didn't understand was. The roots were growing first. Discipline is like that. Invisible before visible. And many people quit in the invisible stage. Too early. Too impatient. Trust the roots. Trust the process. Trust repetition. Results come. Reason number 10, you don't respect time. This one is brutal. Time is life. Waste time. Waste life. Simple. But many live as if tomorrow is guaranteed. It isn't. A Stoic wakes remembering mortality. Not to fear death. But to value time. Seneca taught. It is not that life is short. It is that we waste much of it. Think deeply. How much time have you traded for distraction? For excuses? For delay? A man spent 10 years saying, I'll start soon. 10 years. Gone. And one day he looked back. Shocked. Not because time moved fast. But because he was asleep. Do not sleep through your life. Respect the day. Respect the hour. Respect the moment. Because discipline is respect for time. And respect for time becomes respect for self. Now let me give you the Stoic system to rebuild discipline. The Stoic rebuild system. 1. Start smaller than your pride wants. Small habits survive. 2. Remove friction. Make discipline easier. 3. Remove temptation. Protect your environment. 4. Keep promises to yourself. Even small ones. 5. Focus on today. Not forever. Win today. That's enough. There is a story of a warrior tied with a rope. He fought wildly to break free. Nothing worked. An old master told him. Stop fighting the whole rope. Break one thread. He did. Then another. Then another. And eventually. Freedom. That is discipline. Not conquering your whole life at once. One thread. One habit. One day. One promise. And over time. Freedom. Remember. Self-discipline is not punishment. It is liberation. It frees you from impulse. From weakness. From chaos. From regret. And freedom is worth discomfort. So when your alarm rings, rise. When your work calls, answer. When resistance appears, move anyway. Because every act of discipline builds the person you are becoming. And every excuse feeds the person you are trying to leave behind. Subscribe to the Stoic path if you are committed to mastering yourself. Because this path is not easy. But it is worth everything. And remember this. Discipline is not built when it is easy. It is built in the moment you want to quit. But refuse. Because this final part may be the most important. Discipline is not about perfection. And that misunderstanding has ruined many people. They believe discipline means never slipping. Never failing. Never breaking routine. And the moment they do, they collapse. Why? Because perfection is fragile. One mistake breaks it. But discipline? Discipline is resilient. It bends. It recovers. It returns. That is the difference. A disciplined person is not someone who never falls. It is someone who gets up faster. Again. And again. And again. That is strength. There was once a blacksmith forging iron. He struck the metal repeatedly. Fire. Hammer. Pressure. Fire again. A young boy watching asked, "Why do you keep hitting it?" The blacksmith smiled. Because strength is shaped by repeated pressure. That is you. Every difficult morning. Every resisted temptation. Every uncomfortable decision. Is shaping you. Not punishing you. Shaping you. And this is where many people fail to understand life. Pain is often preparation. Discomfort is often education. Resistance is often training. But weak minds interpret struggle as a sign to stop. Strong minds interpret struggle as proof of growth. That is stoicism. Not avoiding difficulty. Using it. Marcus Aurelius faced war. Betrayal. Disease. Death all around him. Yet he kept his discipline. Not because life was easy. Because his mind was stronger than circumstance. And that is the real goal. Not to control life. To control yourself. Because life will always change. Some days will be heavy. Some mornings will feel empty. Some nights will tempt you back into old habits. And in those moments, discipline becomes your anchor. Not motivation. Not inspiration. Discipline. There was once a fisherman who sailed every day. Storm or no storm. One day, a man asked him, "Why do you still go when the sea is rough?" The fisherman answered, "Because hunger does not wait for calm weather." Powerful. Life does not wait for your mood. Bills do not wait. Dreams do not wait. Time does not wait. So why are you waiting? Waiting to feel ready. Waiting to feel motivated. Waiting for the perfect time. There is no perfect time. Only time. And what you do with it. That's it. A Stoic understands urgency. Not panic. Urgency. The urgency of life. The urgency of purpose. The urgency of becoming. Because every day wasted is a day unrecovered. And this is why discipline matters. Not because discipline makes life easier. Because discipline makes you stronger. And strength changes how life feels. The same burden feels lighter on stronger shoulders. The same pain feels smaller in a stronger mind. The same challenge feels possible to a stronger person. So build strength. Daily. Quietly. Without applause. Without validation. Without needing anyone to notice. Because the strongest growth happens in silence. A tree grows silently. But one day, everyone notices its height. That is discipline. Silent growth. Invisible progress. Until one day, your life looks different. Your habits look different. Your body looks different. Your mind looks different. And people will call it sudden. But you will know. It was built slowly. One decision at a time. One sacrifice at a time. One disciplined act at a time. Let me ask you something. Who are you when nobody is watching? That is the real you. Not the image. Not the performance. Not the words. The habits. That is who you are. And habits can be changed. That is the good news. No matter how long you've struggled, you can rebuild. Starting now. Not tomorrow. Now. There was once a prisoner who spent years chained. One day the chains were removed. But he kept sitting. Why? Because he had become mentally chained. Freedom was available. But his mind had accepted prison. Many people live this way. Your old habits are gone. But your mind still obeys them. Your old weakness still controls you. Not because it must. Because it is familiar. Break familiarity. Challenge it. Change it. Freedom feels uncomfortable at first. But discomfort is the price of transformation. A warrior trains in pain. So battle feels lighter. Train now. So life feels lighter later. And understand this. Discipline is love. Not punishment. Love for your future. Love for your body. Love for your purpose. Love for the person you are becoming. Because when you discipline yourself, you are protecting your future self from regret. And regret is heavy. Heavier than discipline. A man once reached old age filled with regret. Not because he failed. But because he never fully tried. He said, "The pain of effort would have been easier than the pain of wondering." That is truth. And that truth should wake you up. Try. Move. Act. Build. Fail. Learn. Continue. Because unfinished potential is one of life's greatest tragedies. Do not become a tragedy. Become a story of discipline. A story of resilience. A story of transformation. And here is the final Stoic truth. You do not rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. If your system is weak, your discipline breaks. If your system is strong, your discipline survives. So build systems. Sleep on time. Wake on time. Remove distractions. Prepare your environment. Plan your day. Protect your focus. Guard your time. Repeat. 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 That is how greatness is built. Not in giant moments. In repeated ordinary discipline. The world celebrates talent. But life rewards discipline. Talent without discipline fades. Discipline without talent still wins. Because discipline multiplies everything. A sharp mind. A strong body. A clear purpose. A respected life. All built by discipline. So when you leave this video, do not chase motivation. Build systems. Build standards. Build habits. And keep one promise today. Just one. Wake up on time. Read one page. Exercise 10 minutes. Work 30 focused minutes. Start small. But start. Because the life you want is hidden inside the discipline you avoid. Read that again in your mind. The life you want is hidden inside the discipline you avoid. Face it. And your life changes. Run from it. And your life repeats. If this message moved something in you, subscribe to the Stoic Path. Because here, we train the mind, sharpen discipline, and build the kind of inner strength the world cannot shake. Remember, discipline is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming dependable to yourself. And when you become dependable to yourself, everything changes. Your confidence, your identity, your future. One disciplined day at a time.